Gavna. This is Rakai Steve NupeFromDaVille, and you are here for another Friday for a media therapy deep dive. Now, I state this every single time we get started. So, one, I am not a therapist. I'm not a licensed therapist. I don't know shit. But I do speak from a point of a little bit of experience, a tiny bit of wisdom, and I just kind of call things like I see it. And if that works for you, cool. If you need to research what I say and go, find backup, cool. I prefer that you do that. Um, Only thing is, every time when I get on, if you watch any of my media therapy deep dives, I'm just trying to make you think. You come to your own conclusions because what I'm saying is the conclusions I've come to. And crazy thing about doing this is a lot of times I find I may have come to one conclusion. I get some new information, and once I input that, I may find out the last time I said something, I was wrong as hell. And it's okay. Anyway, we're just waiting a moment. Centel will be with us as normal. And I do have Frank on waiting to come into the room, and he will be joining us in the chat very soon, as well as Sherelle. They show up and show out every Friday with me, so they will be joining us in the chat very soon. Today's day, and if you can see, well, I thought I did a little background, maybe not. Hold on, this thing don't be acting right. I thought it was cool. Yeah, I did do it. Okay, well, sure. See, that's the thing about technology. You be thinking you'd be doing something. You don't be doing nothing. Okay. Anyway, now you have a chance to get on, and if you're seeing this, you should be in my YouTube, or you may be in Centel's YouTube. So during this portion of the live stream, we will be going to the chat, so reading your comments. So I do want to say hello to Jay Tandon, to Alex Simpkin, hello, Governor, to HT Teddy, hello, to Red Sin, to another person whose name is in characters that I don't know. I don't want to assume it's Chinese, but it may be. They said, so I just put it up on the screen. I don't know that name, but thank you for being here. Thank you for your comment. I don't comment a lot, but I always appreciate your deep thinking about things. I try. I do. Arnold Woodley Jr., TGIF. Yes, it is TGIF. EA Assassins. Okay. All right. And hold on. Here we go.
Yo, what is going down?
Everybody.
Hello. Slide in just a tad bit late. Had to clean up the set real quick before I hopped in here. How you feeling this Friday, brother?
I'm feeling good, man. As always, and for those that don't know, we literally just jumped out of a live reaction in the Discord.
Yep.
And jumped straight into here. And I was just saying something. We were talking about lucid dreaming. And I said, well, I've had a few, like count them on one hand, lucid dreaming events in my life.
Okay.
But most of the time when I go to sleep, it's dead sleep, like night. I think the only way you can tell is I'm still alive is my kids tell me that my snoring is unbearable. I have acute sinusitis. My sinuses are crazy out here in this Ohio Valley. So, yeah, I snore like a bear. So I guess I'm still alive. So, but every morning I wake my eyes, it's a blessed day. So I am happy for that. But it's just, that's the way it is. So I'm glad we're here.
Yeah, not everybody is capable of lucid dreaming. I always have assumed that everybody could do it, but upon a little bit of research, there's a movie that came out way back in the late 90s called Waking Life. Really good movie. Really, it was awesome. It just really just dives into the nature of dreaming and what happens, and it's animated in this really cool way. But anyways, most people, when they have their dream, they don't realize they're asleep until after they wake up. So if you've never been a lucid dreamer, don't feel bad. But for those of us that are lucid dreamers, you know how crazy your dreams can get, because that moment when you have that aha, that real it's like, wait a minute, I'm dreaming. One of two things happen. It's either about to be one of the most craziest, amazing dreams you've ever had, or it's about to be absolutely terrifying.
Well, I've been there, done that. Yeah. And that's a topic for a whole different day. That's a whole different discussion. So the few lucid dreams I've had, listen, that nightmare fuel, but we're not going to talk about that today. It's a whole different thing. I didn't want to throw this up because I do want to jump into our topic.
Okay.
Today. So EA assassins, hello, gorgeous. Hate to jump to the question at hand, but gotta go and then come back. Anyone who tries to say that representation doesn't matter simply isn't interested in representing you. And I wanted to say that I didn't choose this topic just kind of happenstance. Today is February 28th.
Okay.
The last day of the month of February, and also the last day of what for many years now, and who knows, we'll probably get an executive order to cut this shit out any second now. This is the last day of Black History Month.
There we go.
And I happen to, Wakanda forever. Listen, and we were having a chat after one of our live reactions in the Discord. And I don't recall what it was now, but we got to talking, and I remember the gist was, does representation, I know what it was. Okay. We had just got through watching the new Disney Plus series, Marvel's Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man.
Yep.
And we're talking about, because it's on an alternate timeline, an alternate universe, there are a number of changes in this particular iteration of Spider-Man that some say are woke, bigly. They're woke. And they changed a number of things: race, gender, sexual orientation. They changed a number of things in the show. And I don't know if it's for better or worse, but they were changed. And a number of people have come out, railed against it. We thought that maybe we would hear more people going against it just for that reason. And we were talking about how it's important in the properties that you love to see some part of yourself. And we're talking about representation. And one of the reasons, now, Centel has been a reactor for quite some time. And those of you that are new in these streets, welcome. But Centel was one of the early, day one guys on the Geekish Network. And I don't know if it was before that, but around the same time, he also was doing reactions on a little channel that you may have heard of with this guy. I mean, he's kind of popular. This guy named Jabby Koay. No, in all seriousness, Jabby's huge. He's huge in these reaction streets. He's got multiple channels. His family members have now branched off into multiple channels. Like, they're all big in these streets. They are the Wayans families, the Baldwins of reactions. They big in these streets. And Centel was on their channel. He decided one day he needed to step out and do this thing on his own. And he has prospered. He has flourished. And one day he found this poor little fluffy tiny Tim of a boy, and I was like, "Please, sir, may I have another reaction?" And he felt pity on me and brought me onto his channel. And Now, one of the things, since we have been reacting together, is one of the things I really love that we react on stuff that other people wouldn't react on. Like, I ran into Centel on the Geekish Network. And yes, we were flying our full blurred card. Yes, black nerds. We are geeks at heart. We like what we like.
That part.
Now, it doesn't mean that, I mean, maybe not today. A little bit fluffy, little bit out of shape. I mean, shape for the right activities. You heard me?
I like that. I gotta remember that one.
Yeah. Got my Gatorade and my oxygen machine right next to bed. Listen. Anyway. All right, here we go. We tripping now. But the thing is, in our community, it's often been said, you can only be one thing. If you're a gangster, be a gangster. If you're a nerd, be a nerd. If you're an athlete, be an athlete. And I was, I hate that I'm about to say this, but it's the only example that I have. Okay. I am the original Troy Bolton. God, I hate that I just said that.
Say more.
All right. So, and those of you Disney people, you know who Troy Bolton is, the original Zac Efron from High School Musical. Yeah. And that was me. I was a military brat. I moved around all around the world. So I didn't have a set group of friends. I didn't come in and was already that guy. I came in and became that guy because I was an athlete and I was good. I wasn't trash. I never been the best, but I was good. So I would be an athlete. So they assume one thing about me, but then it's like, wait a minute. This new dude, he reads comic books? Kind of. You supposed to be a hooper. What you know about X-Men? You ain't supposed to know about that. And it's like, wait, what you doing with the drama people? You act too? What kind of shit is like, wait. You play music too? Like you draw? Like who the hell are you, dude? Like you're not real. And I had a lot of interests all over the place. And, part of it was me finding myself, and I wasn't afraid to go into other spaces to find out who the hell I was, I mean, even when you get to a point, you get some good friends, you get a support system, hell, it's time for me to move again. So I always had to find out where I fit into the equation in every place I went. I was an extroverted introvert, if that makes any sense. Like, when I'm around other people, I can put on the show and, I'm the life of the party and tell jokes and rap and, and just be that guy, shoot is shoot and, whatever. But then when I'm to my own devices, I'm reading comic books, reading actual books. Did nobody in the Black community read books? Books. The hell is that? The things our teachers give us. I ain't seen one of them since.
Yo, you tripping?
I'm just saying, B. That's where I found refuge. Yeah. I found refuge in the pages of a book, whether it's a comic book, whether it's a novel. I found refuge, and I was one of those dudes. I like fantasy. You can't be Black in the hood back in the day talking about some Lord of the Rings and did you? The hell, it was weird ass.
It was tough in them Black fantasy streets, man.
Yeah, plus saying the non PC days. The things that they would call people for having certain interests. You like elves and shit. Oh, you one of them, huh? One of them broke wrist dudes. I was like, don't get it twisted. I will beat your ass. Like you want to orc here now? Like beat your monk ass. Like is that how you want it? I'll beat your ass.
You ever had your ass kicked by somebody who's fluent in Klingon?
Whooping your ass the whole time, talking in high Elvish, like what?
Yo, okay.
So I'm just saying, And I say all of that to say that one of the things that me and Centel really hit our groove in was that I went back and looked the other day.
Okay.
Centel, I didn't tell you this. I went back and looked the other day.
Okay.
My first stream with you was September 24th, 2023.
Dang.
And the first stream I did with you, we did season 2 of Foundation. That's how we connected, because you did season 1 by yourself.
Yeah.
And you was like, wait,
you rock a
Foundation?
Foundation?
Hey, hold on, season 2 is about to come out. You want to do a thing with me? And I was like, sure. You know what I'm saying? I ain't never really done it, you know.
Yeah, that's true.
Because like on Bingeworthy, we watch a show on our own and then we talk about it afterwards. So I had never done a reaction before. So I was like, this is all right. Like, people just watching my reactions to it, and then I just talk my shit. I was like, this is cool, you know? And then it just kept going or whatever. And you kept pushing me, start your own channel, dude. You can do this. Kept pushing me. And I started March 28th last year. Wow. So I am 11 months in today.
Yeah, that's you. You're the MVP.
That's right. So, but I say all of that, and it's a big thank you to you and to Chuck, the leader, founder, my brother, who's a owner of the Geekish Network. You know, you guys, both of you guys, pushed me out of my comfort place, and I found my extended family in the Discord and in these streets, in the comments, and I'm so happy for that. But one of the things was in Foundation, looking at the characters in Foundation. You know, the main characters were a couple of young Black women. You know, one of the things that really jump-started, you know, the Discord and pretty much damn near defines my channel now is Doctor Who. And that all started because of a little guy named Chuti Gatwa. We didn't start on, you know, the Patrick Troughtons and, you know, Sylvester McCoys and, you know, all of the people from Classic Who. We didn't know anything about New Who. We started because of the Christmas special, the first Christmas special with Chuti Gatwa. You know, I don't even know how he got to become the Doctor yet.
We didn't know anything about it. We were like, yo, that's just a brother. That's a brother on Doctor Who?
Yeah, there's a Black dude on Doctor Who. And I was like, I heard of Doctor Who. I never watched it. I never, you know, you want to try it out? Sure.
Yeah, it was like that. That's why representation matters, though. That's why.
That's why representation. So I know that was long-winded, but you know, and I want to give you a chance to jump in here before we call our folks on the stage. Man.
I just wanted, there was a great line in here by Frank who said, every friendship is built on a good foundation. That's a bar.
That's a bar. Thank you, Frank.
I can't lie though. Yo, I remember we brought up foundation. He was like Isaac, that's my foundation. He was like, yeah, I rock with that. I was like, did we just become best friends? like in Step Brothers?
You would never part.
That was it. Because I was like, you just don't hear that. You just don't hear that. And I was like, oh, you different. You like me. It's like that when it's in the Spider-Man movie, Enter the Spider-Verse, when you can feel it. And it's like, oh, you're like me. Okay. All right. Yeah. So Foundation, that's great. That's hilarious. Yeah, thanks for that, Frank.
Yeah, that was our first show a year and a half ago. Foundation.
Yeah. Yeah, man, this is great. I am excited to get other folks up in here because I know me and you. And here's the thing. I know I throw alley-oops to you all day long, and we'll keep going, and we'll have Danny and Daniel and Frank and Sherelle out there. They'll be sitting there like, yo, y'all are doing it again. So I'm gonna shut up. I'm gonna just go ahead and just shut up now, because you know I'll keep throwing them to you, bro. So I'm gonna say this last thing.
I decided to do this topic. Not most of the times when we pick a topic, we'll go something with Doctor Who because it speaks to our community. And yes, our beloved New Who, Doctor Who community, we love you so much. But we talk about a lot more than Doctor Who. I hope that you know this. You guys should know this. Like right now, currently, we just finished Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
We're doing Invincible right now.
Yeah.
We're doing Reacher.
Mm-hmm.
Without me, and I'm okay with it because he started the channel without me, so it's okay. He is doing Yellow Jacket.
Yep.
Yellow Jackets, Severance, and White Lotus with
White
MC.
Lotus, Severance, yeah.
Yes. He's done some movies here lately with Marissa, who's new to the page, and she's phenomenal.
She's incredible. Yeah.
Of course, our guy Leo with Geekly Goods has come through, and he's done a lot of stuff with him. So there's a lot of stuff happening on his channel. I don't have as much variation on my channel, and I need to get there. It's just my recording schedule is just kind of herky jerky, and and Cynthia will tell you, we put a lot of stuff in the schedule for you, our fans in Discord and our people. We put stuff on the schedule for you, so we're going to show up consistently as best we can. Life be getting in the way sometimes, but we're going to be consistent for you. But when it comes to doing stuff on my channel, I am not nearly as consistent. I'm trying. I'm getting better. So, I do. Let's see. Original Diva says yes. I'm like, wait, people looking like me, liking Doctor Who? Say less. I'm in. Right. And here's the thing. Here's the thing that I think that people miss with, the taboo word of the day, DEI or whatever. It's not about we've had shows forever that have featured all white cast, and we still watch and enjoy it. The show is the show. Give me a good story. Give me a good villain or whatever. Tell me a good story, and it's worth watching. I don't get bent out of shape, and I'm at the point now where I was like, if it's going to be a true representation of real life, then it should have more than just white folks in it. But that does not mean there's not places where there are predominantly a bunch of white people. If you watch The Chi, which I don't watch, that show is predominantly all African Americans, and that's because the neighborhoods they live in and the situations they're in, it's pretty much all black people. I get it. It happens. We watched with The Brother's Son.
Yeah, it was great. Loved it.
All Asian people.
Yeah, no.
I get it. It makes sense. Everything they did, they went to Singapore, Hong Kong. They was in Chinatown. Makes sense that we see nothing but, Asian people. It's okay. And I thought it was great. But representation, seeing yourself on screen, absolutely matters. And it matters for you to be able to tell a good story with regardless of who you're showing on screen. And that's our deal. Any last comment before we bring in our esteemed guests who've been waiting to get in?
No, I need you to check me because I'm a talker. So I need Sherelle, friend, Donnie, Daniel, all of y'all be like,
yeah,
share the mic. I will do better. I will do better.
I would say I'm gonna do better, but I don't want to lie to y'all. I don't. I'd be running off at the mouth, and it is what it is. So I was looking through these comments, and I did want to throw this up there right quick. Brother's Son, we were dismayed when they canceled Brother's Son because we thought Brother's Son was excellent.
Yes.
Should have came back for a second season. To me, Michelle Yeoh does no wrong. I don't give a damn what she's in. And she was in Section 31. And
you don't want to talk about Section 31. Well, even Michelle couldn't say that one. Yeah,
she was great.
Yeah, they can't all be gems.
They can't all be gems now, can they, Takish? All right, and we had a couple people on the show that reached out to us, Sleepy and more Red Boots. They were on the Sun. They had reached out to us and said, thank you so much. They saw one of our reactions, and they was like, "Oh, these guys are talking about us," and I was like, "That felt good,"
Oh, I just saw something. Hold on, let me do something real quick. Hey, we got a super chat that just came in here. This one came from Michael Demo. Thank you. Representation can matter. Depends on the person. Land dude here. No need for me to see brown everywhere. Okay. All right. That's. I feel you on that. It's I don't think. For me, I just want to see a good story first. Story trumps everything. First, more than anything else. Can I get a good story? And then if you can sprinkle in people that can breathe life into that story to make it to really make it something special, regardless of gender, color, whatever the thing is, do that. But when people go out of their way to just whitewash something for the fear of stepping out of your comfort zone to deal with the different cultures, different aspects of life, to just because you're terrified of people not wanting to see it or any of those other silly things, then you're robbing people of an opportunity to really be drawn in. I think about Black Panther, and people were saying that film was not going to do well because of so many black faces. And it's like a top 5 highest grossing Marvel movie. I think it's in the top 5, right? It's in the top 5. If you just give it a chance, I'm a fan of international content where I gotta leave the shores of America to get some good solid stories. Not because I'm running from white people. It's just I know there's more than just one culture's way of telling a story. So if you get more opportunities to see these things, I think what was it? Prime Video just did a big Netflix just did a big contract with a lot of South American countries. I'm excited about that because we're going to get different cultures looks at how stories should be told. I remember Amazon Prime had a pretty big contract with the continent of Africa, with Ghana, Nigeria, South Africa. I don't know if that contract is still going there, but reaching out to different storytellers to hear it. It's not just the skin color, it's the culture that, and not everybody's culture of storytelling is going to be identical. So it does feel good to get out of your comfort zone, to hear a story that you wouldn't typically hear from it being whitewashed through Western culture. There's a movie out right now. It's the highest grossing animated movie in the world. It's a Chinese movie. Yes. I'm excited to see that. Because I know I'm going to get a story that's going to be very, very different because the culture is going to dictate something that's going to be counter to.
And I love the first one. The first one's great.
So representation does matter because you get to grow as a human being when you can get out of your safety net, get out of your little bubble, and then hear other people's versions of how they see the world. Oh, thank you for that $5, Michael.
Yes, and let's see. I'm going to bring our other folks to stage. So we have Frank joining us. We have Sherelle joining us. We have Donnie, I think may have stepped away from the mic for just a minute, and Daniel. Thank you to all of you for joining us on screen today.
Yo, what up, everybody? What's up, Frank? Donnie, Sherelle, Daniel. Hey, Daniel. What's going on with you? Danielle, excuse me. Sure, I know you are not about to sit here and try and be shy.
I was trying to. I talk all the time. I was trying to let someone else say something first.
And I always wait for Sherelle to go first because she talks all the time.
See, it's the people that you think love you. Mm-hmm.
I do want to add something to the point that was just made in the super chat and what Centel said. Where he said, he don't, because he's Latino, he don't want to see brown people all the time. I get it. And I think we're the only ones that don't really understand that sort of experience in American cinema, American film and media. Because most other countries you go to, even though they might have expats in every country, like, for instance, we love South Korean cinema. South Korea has been killing it for years, and they're making incredible content in damn near every genre. But that's not even really a thought, because hell, everyone in South Korean cinema is South Korean. Now you might add in some Chinese people and some people from Singapore and some Taiwanese people, some Japanese people, or whoever, maybe. But, for the untrained eye, most of us can't tell them apart from the different locales that they live in. To us, hell, we still call South Korean, we probably say, oh, that's that Chinese stuff. No, it's a whole different country. Not even
It's a whole different thing.
Yeah. It's like just, to this day, people still, oh, they African. It's a continent, right?
Continent.
Yes.
Listen
Yeah, that's just like, what I'm saying? Like, for instance, Frank on here. We could say, Frank, you American? He could say yes, because he's from the continent of North America.
North American.
There's no North American or South American that would refer themselves as American.
No one.
That's not from America.
And we say, oh, I'm American. Well, so are a whole bunch of people from Peru. They're American. People from Mexico, the ones y'all trying to kick out and kick over the wall, they're American. The North American, South American. He happens to be Canadian. It's the same thing. We forget we're from the United States, the U.S. That's different. But for some reason, we think that's the only America. There's no other America that exists.
United States can keep America.
We just renaming Gulfs after and everything. We just... but the thing is, this country was founded, allegedly, as being a melting pot. And in a melting pot, you have all sorts of different things that come together to make something great. So while people are out of their way trying to make it great again is the operative word in there. Again, when was it? When was the last time it was? Okay, never mind. I digress.
I was waiting.
Listen. Anyway, I think that has been a problem for a long time in the United States, was that we don't have a true representation of who we really are as a people. We have the power structure that tells us who the real Americans are, and then everyone is a subgenre of that. But that's not the true story, and we know it's not the true story. And that is the problem with our media, because the people who are running the media are not like the rest of us. They're not like us. And I'm going to let that go.
Is anybody here watching Spider-Man? Watching the new one that just came out? I was just curious, because I know that was a topic, and people are feeling some kind of way about your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. And you had mentioned, Rakai, about it being like a melting pot in America, and there's probably no more better melting pot than New York City, city of New York.
Yeah.
Brooklyn. There's a lot of different cultures that are there. So it made me kind of like scratch my head and be like, why are people upset about seeing different cultures in Brooklyn? Like, there's a lot of different folks that live there. I was just wondering, did that take you out of the viewing experience of your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man? If any of y'all watch that, or if you all in the chat as well. Oh, wait a minute. Hold that thought. I just saw a super chat. Give me a second. Let me pull this in. Sorry, everybody. There we go. Hey, there we go.
Hey.
There we go. Sorry, it took me a second to get my knobs right. Alex Simpkin. There's a show I love that I won't name. They introduced a character with
dyspraxia.
Dyspraxia. Okay. It felt great that a character shared my condition and my struggles. I was told I wouldn't be able to cycle or swim. I proved them wrong. Now, please forgive my ignorance.
I'm getting ready to tell you. I got you.
What is dyspraxia?
I got you. Because I had to look it up too. I was like, for as long as I worked in the school system, this one was not one I was familiar with.
Okay.
So dyspraxia is also known as developmental coordination disorder, neurodevelopmental disorder that affects a person's ability to plan, organize, and execute movements. It's a difficulty with fine motor skills, poor coordination and balance, sometimes someone who's overly clumsy and awkward.
Okay.
And then problems with motor planning and delayed motor milestones. So, and I want to know what the show is. Honestly,
no, you don't.
Is it? I don't.
No spoilers.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Yeah.
Thank you, Alex. You are awesome.
We'll leave it at that then. Okay.
Okay. Well, I need to know this. So, but
You'll find out.
You will find out.
Okay. But I do, and again, this is why representation matters. Because as unfortunate as some of us do not have it in us to prove everyone wrong. We watch some of these stories, and there's I just this week saw a Instagram or something of a guy. I don't think it's current. I think it's a few years ago. He was wrestling, became like a champion wrestler in college.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't have no damn legs. I was like,
what?
This shit.
I feel some kind of way about that. Because we had a state champion in my high school who was handicapped, and he did not have a leg. And on the surface, it's a great story. It is. It's a great story for him to overcome. But in wrestling, there's these things called weight classes, right? And you fight in your weight class because it's based on levels of strength. And you have somebody who is very jacked at a lower weight class because a leg weighs 20, 30 pounds. And it's a combat sport, and people paint the picture that this person is at a disadvantage when they are clearly at an advantage because they're fighting at a lower weight class with the strength of somebody at a higher weight class. So it's always when I hear the wrestling stories about the one-legged or the no-legged person, I'm always looking like,
not only that, there's certain moves, certain locks,
Yeah.
certain pins that you cannot do against them because they don't have both legs.
Right.
Like that is a whole different,
was
like
always
you
a
have to
little funny.
actually train for that person. And that is not like I've been following for a few years now. I've been following the story of Hansel.
Mm-hmm.
And Hansel is a guy who starting in middle school, high school, said he wanted to go to the NBA. Only issue for him is he only has one arm.
One arm, yeah.
But he has been out there whooping ass and
folks.
taking no names. He has been lighting people's ass up with one arm. I mean, and like, now lucky he's 6 foot something. He's like 6'3" or something like that. So I mean, dunking, shooting 3-pointers, like he does everything. He is the sham god because he does. There's crossovers, all types of stuff with one hand. And you would think, he's like, all I got to do is cut off his strong hand. You don't know how strong that damn hand is because he dribbling on both sides of his body and shit. Like
he's nice with it. Like, don't get caught up. Yeah, you get embarrassed.
Nice. And he's playing at I don't know, like a D2 or D3 college or something like that now. Still trying to get to the league. And I was like, I'm rooting for the dude. But I just saw the story this week of another dude who's playing ball.
For some reason, I got this.
Okay. I ain't get it, but okay. There's another dude playing ball that only has one leg. Now, he got both arms. He got one leg, and he is getting his hop on. Do you hear me? He is hopping his ass all over that court and tearing people's ass up. And
that's impressive, though. I can't lie. That's hope.
But again, it's that thing like you just said about wrestling.
Yeah.
He's cheating. Like, can he double dribble? Can you say move his pivot foot?
Yeah. I feel you. It's like, yeah, you kind of broke the game a little bit, but all
of his dribbles are crossover. Like damn it.
Yeah.
Again, his story amazing. I'm rooting for that guy. But when you get to looking at people being different in different places or different than what you're used to, because playing a sport, you're used to able-bodied people, which is 2 arms, 2 legs, 2 this, that, or whatever. When something different happens, and I'm not saying that it's that they shouldn't be out there, but I think it's one of those things we're not used to.
Mm-hmm.
So those feel-good stories you see like on the football field or the basketball team is one person who loved ball all his life, but he has Down syndrome or some form of autism that's more severe, and they put him on the field, to run in a touchdown because he loves it so much, and it feels good. And we want to see people win until we don't. And I think that is one of the huge problems in this country, because if you're being realistic, that's not an everyday occurrence. That's a one-off. We like the story of Rudy, even though none of that shit is true. We like the underdog who overcame all of these circumstances to win. But in real life, that's why we need representation, because we the underdog every damn day. I woke up, was the underdog, didn't even know it. I drove my kids to school this morning, and the whole time, even though I've done nothing wrong, as a grown ass man, why do I still hit them side view mirrors and the rear view mirror looking for the po-po at all the entire damn time? I ain't done no wrong. I just drove my kids to school because I woke up and knew they not like us. I better not get pulled over. Don't matter. Hold on, let me grab my phone. That might be the last time I grab for anything. It's a different world out here, and representation is important for us to understand and to know what we can achieve if we can see ourselves doing it.
Let me ask Alex one more quick thing before everything was done. When you saw the character on with the
dyspraxia.
Yes, I was trying to use my vowels. Does seeing media like that inspire? Like, is that one of the things that helped you to cycle and swim, or were you already cycling and swimming and then saw that and was like, aha, now I did it and now I see it on television? I'm just curious, like, how much of an influence? Because we and Maria Kai have talked at length about how media has a strong influence, and we talked about shows like A Different World and stuff like that, how it can influence like real life things. So I was just wondering how you felt about that, Alex. Of course, you could just drop that chat down in there, that boy. Let me see. You mind if I take over for like a hot second? I wanted to introduce Daniel. So Daniel in the chat had said something that he wanted to say. Daniel.
Hi. Sorry. If you can't understand my accent, by the way, I'm Scottish as well.
I love it. Okay. I heard it as soon as you start talking. I was like, oh, he's Scottish. She's one of my favorite people. I love the Scottish accent. Go ahead. I'm over here training my mind now. I'm going to talk like him before we get off here. Go ahead.
And I won't be offended if you ask me to repeat myself.
No.
But yeah, I mean, kind of related to that, I suppose, is the idea that, I mean, what does representation mean? I mean, like, in the old days, and still today to an extent, in the old days, representation just meant that if you were part of a minority group, then you were going to be the butt of the joke, made fun of. And to be literal, that counts as representation in a bad way. But equally, when things are portrayed, when a group is portrayed as, all perfect and all good and all innocent, then that's also just as condescending. It's like, Russell T Davies from Doctor Who, when he did Queer as Folk back in 1999, the original British version. I mean, that portrayed gay life, gay people in a very realistic and not always good way.
Okay.
It was completely flawed, completely human. And lots of people got angry about that. The typical people, the conservatives who were very upset that we had these gay stories on TV. But also there were some gay people who were upset because it didn't portray them in the right way as all these, angels, these good people. But it portrayed them as human. And I think it's important to distinguish between these two things. It's not really just about representation. It's how you do it. And I don't think anyone is an angel or a devil. I think you have to portray the complexity of every experience.
All right. Can I add something real quick? I think that's very interesting. I think that's thank you for bringing that up. And I think a lot of times what happens is when you're like the tip of the spear of any group and you're making your entrance into the public lexicon of everything else, people feel like there's this over obligation that you have to just take your flag and wave the positivity around it when life just isn't like that for any group. I don't care what group you're into. Human beings do human things. But what alleviates that is when you have lots of opportunities to tell a lot of different stories, so that it's not on one project, one movie, one series to speak on behalf of an entire culture. It's not fair. I know a lot of times, like in the early 90s when we were watching television, when me and Rikai were watching television, you know, if you saw black folks, it was either gangbangers, prisoners, slaves, yeah. Maids. But it's because there wasn't a lot of different options out there to show that there's different levels of the culture. Now there's a lot more stuff. You got black doctors, you got black astronauts, all kinds of stuff. But if you were to come in the early 90s and be the tip of the spear with that, there would be like a lot of pushback. There's a reason why the Cosby Show has so much pushback, because at the time that was counterculture to have a black lawyer and a black doctor all living together. People were like, that's just way too much. So I can totally understand why it was a queer folk. That was the name of the show. Yeah. Why there could be that kind of pushback, because it's the tip of the spear. It's like when you're storming the beaches of Normandy, the first people to run out the boats is the ones that get gunned down. You know,
they get them bullets.
Right. But it takes that. It takes that, because then that's going to open other doors for other projects, for other groups in order to tell their story.
I have so much to say, and I'm trying to limit it because I want everyone to have an opportunity to say. Like, it's crazy. That is the gift and the curse of current streaming media, because now everyone has access to be their own filmmaker and tell their own stories. And Daniel was absolutely right about Russell T. Davies and the representation of queer folk back in the day. And the thing is, when you're, I don't want to say ignorant, but when you don't have a lot of knowledge on a subject, then whoever tells the best story frames how you think of all things. And that's why, because of the media for so many years, that so many Black folks are still dealing with negative connotations of our life and how we are. We just had this conversation the other day. Like, one of the reasons why Atlanta was a seminal, groundbreaking TV show was because it showed just regular life, you know, of Black people. They wasn't doing shit. Now, it still has some stereotypical elements, like, you know, rapping and drugs and shit in there. But I mean, it wasn't really about anything. There's all sorts of TV shows about that show nothing. It shows about absolutely nothing. And I think it's not only from a racial point of view, but a lifestyle point of view. And I think that it's really great when you can see yourself on TV in some form or capacity. The Cosby Show was great back in the day. I'm the son of an officer in the military. I didn't even know we was rich. I didn't know we, you know what I'm saying, had money until I would go home to California and be like, why y'all houses so damn small? Like, you know, like, which y'all ain't got 5 bedrooms? People don't do that. Like, I ain't know. And then when my parents got a divorce, there's like, oh, you want to see the other side of the tracks? Here, experience poverty. Figured it out real fast. I was like, oh, shit, you know, please, not like this. Not like this. You know, it happens. But I didn't know that was possible, even though I was living it, because I thought everybody lived like this. I didn't ask no question about what your house was like or how you lived. I saw you at the rec center. I played ball with you in the park. That's what I know. Cosby Show was important. A Different World was important. Hell, the first Real World, or was it The Real World on MTV? That was important, because that was the first like reality TV show. Reality TV shows not even real anymore. We are so jaded. We think the shows we watch, Temptation Island, Montoya, this shit ain't real. None of it is real. Because now when they cast people for reality shows, they cast archetypes. They check boxes for damn near every show now. Hold on. I need a gay, got one. I need a Black, got one. I need someone that is, you know, on the spectrum, got one. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. You're a black lesbian with autism? Oh shit, check them all off one time. Got it. You know, and that's what they do. And it's makes it hard. I didn't believe anything, and I hate to say this, but until 2008, when Barack Obama became president, I was like, oh, the final frontier has been broken. Because I didn't think I'd ever see that in my lifetime. I just didn't. I was like, I didn't even think that. As a matter of fact, the thing that really weirded me out most, because we played it for laughs for years before that, was Chris Rock did the movie with Bernie Mac, where he became the president, and there was assassination attempts. Your mic is muted, Centel. Just knew. I was like, wait, nobody tried to assassinate Barack Obama.
Oh my God, that's what I thought. I thought he wasn't gonna make it. I really
that's what I said too. I was like, well, Biden
like,
be
oh no, he's not gonna
president
make it
in
through his whole
2009.
presidency. Yep.
Yeah.
Do you remember how collectively we as a culture was scared during inauguration and he hopped out of the motorcade and was walking the street? I think black people on the planet was just like
clutching their pearls. Please don't do it. Don't do it, Franklin. We love you. Don't do it.
First time everybody was clutching their pearls, like, get your ass back in the car, man. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Like,
you know they hate us.
His suit must be made out of vibranium because there ain't no damn way.
I remember that. Everybody was sweating. And he was just like, hey.
Yeah.
Times they are changing.
Times they are changing. You would never lied about that. But I do understand completely how important it is to see yourselves in whatever community it is that you belong to. Like we had talked about this. We did an episode of Bingeworthy on the Marvel show Echo. And it was what tribe of Native Americans was it? Was it Comanche?
Ooh, I forgot. Huh.
I forget what tribe it was. And you know, lo and behold, listen, everyone in America who says that they have some Native American in them is not Cherokee, damn it. Just so y'all know. There's
Choctaw.
other tribes out there.
Choctaw Nation.
Choctaw.
Yeah.
Is that what it was on TV, or is that what it is in the comics? Because I don't think it was
for the Marvel series, she was Choctaw.
Okay, Choctaw. So I personally thought that the series was trash. And y'all know me, you know I'm a Marvel stan. I love Marvel. I thought that the series was trash because they did not tell us a good story. They wasted her character and did not really lean in to why her being Choctaw made her a different type of character. It's almost like, hey, we're going to do this show about the Choctaw culture, but we don't actually have anyone of Choctaw background on set. So what we'll do is we'll go talk to the Choctaw people. We'll get some of their goods and we'll sprinkle it on set and we'll make it part of the background. We'll make, ooh, that's an authentic Choctaw doll that a little girl would carry, on their reservation. And we'll do these things. And I thought it was just a poor representation of Native American culture. I did personally. And I remember the Choctaw Nation, they had a big premiere and they thanked Marvel and they were so appreciative because representation matters. There hadn't been any Choctaw characters that were on TV anymore. And not only that were heralded, because most of their depictions of Native American, whether it's Choctaw, whether it's my father's side, damn, I'm gonna sound like a cliche. Yes, there's some Native American on my father's side, and it's Creek. It's not Cherokee, damn it. It's Creek from Mississippi. It's the Creek Nation. I've never personally seen anybody of Creek, heritage on TV. I watched the show Banshee, and they had a lot of Native Americans on that show, but they did not depict them in the best light. And I think, like Native Americans, much like we just said blacks used to be, are depicted negatively most of the time. So I understand that from that point, I thought Echo was great for the culture. Not a good show, but great for the culture. And I guess that's all I want to say, that to me, on this last day of Black History Month, it's not even really about Black history. It just, I am appreciative to, I never in 1,000 years would have thought that I'd be a content creator, and I create content, and I'm happy to be in this space. And for the people who rock with me, I'm glad that they rock with me. I'm glad that you rock with Centel. To me, representation still matter, whatever that is. Like y'all saw it. I was giddy as hell when Daniel started talking. We don't share in the same culture, but I love, and it's not just the Scottish accent. There are a lot. Listen, I have rocked with Sean Connery for all my damn life. Sean Connery is that dude. You know, coming into this, Chuti Gatwa is what is it? Is he a Rwandan refugee that found himself being raised in Scotland?
Yeah, he was he was born in Rwanda. And then his family, I think, fled from the genocide.
Yeah.
And
then he
Scotland
was raised in Scotland.
Yeah. I mean, he went to school. He was brought up in the town just 5 minutes up the road from me right now.
See,
that's and now he's made it good. He's got out of Dunfermline, so well done to him.
And I think that was part of how this discussion kind of evolved, because we were talking about Neighborhood Spider-Man at first, and then the news came out about Chuti and the new season and the future of Doctor Who, where it says that the reports came out that it was true that he was stepping down from the role at the end of his second season. Now, he put out a statement that he's moving to Los Angeles to pursue new opportunities, and he definitely has had many opportunities before and after being Doctor Who. He was in the Barbie movie. He was on that show Sex Education. So he's had some opportunities, and I'm glad to see that his star's on the rise and he's going to do some stuff. But I have to admit that we called this out and said that this was coming because of the amount of backlash that Doctor Who was getting. You know, a lot of people say, "Oh, it's because Russell T Davies, the stories are terrible and this and that." Is that it? Mm-hmm. Is that the only reason that you're upset? Because y'all been upset for a while now, and I don't think it's just because the stories were bad.
Let me ask Donnie. It's always a pleasure to have you on the stream. You got any thoughts regarding all the stuff that we've been juggling? We can't hear you. I think your mic is, or I can't hear you. Can you all hear him?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Yeah, we can't hear you for some reason, right. Donnie.
Okay. Cheryl Frank, while Donnie works that out real quick.
Hold on. This is important, and we came into this backwards. Thank you again for your comment, Alex. Doctor Who had backlash when Martha was introduced as a companion back in 2007. Racist going racist. And see, and that was the thing, because we watching Doctor Who the way that we have it now, and being, we watched that third season in 2024, we were made aware after the fact of that there was this big controversy with Martha being a companion. Is that Donnie? You coming through?
You can hear me?
Yes.
There you go.
Yes. There you go.
There we go.
All right. I'll let you finish your thought. Go ahead.
No, it's just it's weird when people say, "Oh yeah, there was a backlash because of this and because of that," and by the time we're watching it, that show is now 17 years old, and he's like, "Oh, for real? Like, how could you not like Martha? Martha was great," but that's because we had the opportunity to watch it when. Now, a lot of those problems and a lot of things, the reason why there's backlash, they're not gone. They're just, things are, a little bit better now, and we just went in to watch it. Like, okay, she's a new companion. She took Rose's place. Okay, cool, and got to just see a story and got to evaluate Martha on a, this is what it is, Plus, it didn't hurt that she was my boo thing while she's on the show. Like
Y'all loved her for real. Y'all really.
Hey,
Yeah.
representation matters.
Representation matters. It matters. Hey, and just so we're clear, listen, Clara is very easy on the eyes. The representation matters. I was like, listen, I ain't never ventured onto that side of the fence, but hey, all right.
I'm not blind.
Yeah. And now, and actually after these last few episodes, the end of season 8, she didn't piss me off so good. I was like, ooh, girl, you ugly now. You ugly. Don't care what you look like. You know what I'm saying? She ugly to me right now. Like right now, she's not too cute right now. So hopefully she get it back. But yeah, right now she ugly.
Dane.
Yeah. Okay. So I apologize if this was covered already because I did miss a good part of this, but I like to always take a snapshot of where we are in history because we all got cameras. There's a bunch of streaming channels. Everybody got microphones. Everybody has an opinion. But I'm going to go all the way back to the 60s. Nichelle Nichols.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Come on.
Star Trek.
Uhura.
Yes.
Gene Roddenberry. Okay, why does Star Trek survive all this time? Because he had a vision of what things would look like in the future if done right. And I know this her interview was somewhere on YouTube, but there was a part of her career where, because she was getting a little flustered with the role, where she wanted to leave Star Trek. And Dr. King said, "You can't do that.
Yeah.
There's 3 networks. 3 major networks. You're the only person doing what you're doing on television for us." And that opened a hole to where we have Marthas and we have pilots and captains, female. I mean, like it's so important, but you got to take a look at like where you are compared to what you was coming from. A lot of people are going to sit there. Yes, the voices are going to get louder. Yes, people are going to be screaming negativity, and people are going to gravitate to that because even producers know. Like Makai said it. He said, like, when you have these reality shows now, they're just going for entertainment now. Like, I even turn on ESPN. I can't listen to all that damn shouting in the damn morning just because people want to talk about certain things in sports just to get a ratings bump. But when it comes down to like things that reel me in, I'm gonna use you two as an example. Sherelle said it in the comment earlier. I'm sitting there going through YouTube, and I've been one for Doctor Who is my favorite show, but no one I knew growing up was watching it with me. So when I see 2 brothers pop up on my feed talking about, oh, we watching Doctor Who, and they're speaking my lingo, I'm coming in. So that does no, it's true. It does matter. Now there is a flip side, I think, to that as well. It shouldn't replace good stories.
Facts.
Yeah.
If you're shoving things down my throat where you got to have a gay person here and you got to have this one there and you got to have that one there, but your story is trash, now you're giving these folks more to talk about because they're now they're not only saying your stuff is trash, but they're saying that you're pulling all this fluffer nonsense, woke nonsense, if you want to call it for that, and you're giving that argument a feed. So it's I think you can't tell a story about the Great Wall of China with a bunch of with non-Asian people. It's not going to work.
Wait, you mean to tell me that Matt Damon couldn't save the day? What?
No, it's like there was nobody black on the Titanic. I mean, but you can be accurate with and be safe with that because that was a sign of the times. Yeah. Then that's a story. That's something that's going to reel people in, regardless of who you are. Okay, it's accurate, but you don't replace it by putting in the fluffers, and that's my kind of balance that I think you got to have when it comes to entertainment, particularly media, because certain people are not going to think ahead, as far ahead, and they'll just judge based off of a review or something like that. So,
one of my favorite movies growing up, like till this day, I still love it because I'm a theater nerd. Everybody, shut up. It was Rodgers and Hammerstein's Cinderella, because they didn't give a damn what culture, like a black woman and a white man had an Asian baby, and like it was beautiful. That was my shit. Loved it.
I am going to say this, and I'm glad that you brought this up, and I didn't forget it, but I did forget it until you just now said it, Donnie. Nichelle Nichols as Lieutenant Uhura on Star Trek changed more than what you know. And I just think about it like this. Like I'm a huge Star Wars person. And even though I think I saw the first Star Wars, I was too young to even remember it. But I did remember Lando Calrissian.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that, And the thing is, Lando would not have been possible without Nichelle Nichols, who Gene Roddenberry had to fight to even not only get her on the show, but to keep her on the show. I've heard several people reference back to Nichelle Nichols, such as Mae Jemison, who didn't know and started her whole thing. She wanted to be an astronaut because she saw Nichelle Nichols on Star Trek. Like that right there, that's a whole different, it changes the entire trajectory of your life. And now we're talking about people like Mae Jemison for what she did for the space program, being, when the first sister out there in space, because she saw this woman on TV turning some dials and hit some switches and turn around and telling, Captain Kirk's HR Me Too ass, listen, he was a walking HR nightmare. It's a different time. Zoe Saldana, quotes, and she actually got to sit down and talk to Lieutenant, to Nichelle Nichols about playing Uhura before she did it in the movies. She did it so that Sonequa Martin Green could be Burnham, and then we got where's my guy? Avery Brooks was Cisco. Like,
yeah,
I was not a huge Star Trek person, but when the movies started, these current sets that were the Simon Pegg movies, I have enjoyed Star Trek quite a bit, and I've gotten to learn, and I think that the TV shows and stuff are excellent. And it's so sad that they are kicking Star Wars ass right now. It just hurts my feelings to no end.
This might be relevant. In Star Trek Beyond, I think the last film actually with the Simon Pegg crew, they had that hug with Sulu and his boyfriend or husband.
Yes. Yes.
And I think George Takei himself said, I mean, first of all, that was nothing. It was like, okay, you get like a frame of a hug.
Yeah.
But I think George Takei said, why are we turning this character gay? He wasn't gay. So it just seemed like it's one of those things where it kind of shoehorns it in, and nobody's happy.
Does. Which is so funny, because the character Sulu wasn't gay, even though George Takei in real life is gay. And I think that's so interesting, because the character was the character, and maybe someone got caught up and was like, well, George Takei is gay, so I'll make his character this. And for George Takei, that was not the issue. It was about representation. I'm not trying to show a gay person space. I just happen to be gay, but I am very much into my Asian heritage, and that's what I want to show. The same way that Nichelle Nichols showed up for all, and all the African American, all black people could be like, oh shit, there's a black woman that made it into space. That was the same thing he was doing for the Asian culture, whatever. And I thought that was important. I thought that was his beef. I thought it was very interesting that the man who originated and they probably thought, he'll be cool with it. He's gay. He's no, because this is bigger than my personal choices. This ain't about that. And I thought that was really important that he said that, because everything, and to Donnie's point, we don't have to check that box. If that box not checked, like the movies that shall not be named is one of these last Star Wars movies that they did. And they made a big deal out of, a gay kiss or something on the screen. I don't even remember this shit. I don't even remember it. They said it happened around the end of the movie. Two characters were gay and they were happy and they kissed each other. And I was like, who gives a shit? Like, why is that a thing? Oh, it's the first gay kiss in Star Wars. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna bring that up, but we're not gonna talk about the first incest kiss in Star Wars. I'll talk about that because that shit was wrong. Like, what I'm saying? Y'all want to just keep bringing stuff up. Let's talk about that. And I just think this is a day and age that people gonna and they're gonna do what they. I don't understand how we live the variation of lifestyles that we do on Earth right now, and you think that's not gonna make it into space with us?
I think Donnie said something that was interesting to me, and that is, you just have to do it, and people let people hate, let them get it out their system, but it's still just do the thing, and then we'll worry about the how people feel about it a little bit later. I think another example is the show Shogun. Shogun book written by a white guy, in the 50s, written by a white guy in the 50s.
In the 50s.
In the 80s, they made a TV series based off of it. It's centered around the white character that was in the books. And which is interesting is because the guy that was the showrunner of the original 1980 series, he was one of the few people that had something kind of negative to say about the remade series. And that wasn't negative. He said something in the effect that people might not have understood what the new Shogun was talking about, because it wasn't talked about from the white gaze, right? But then for those that did watch it, that is what made the show really brilliant, because it talked about cultural things that were very foreign to Western belief and Western ideas. It didn't focus around the white-centered captain, but more so around Toranaga, more towards Toranaga and what it means to have honor, what it means to lead your people, what it means to be tactical and with Eastern ideology. And I think that's one of the reasons why me and Rakawi did a reaction to it, and it pushed us out of a comfort zone to kind of look at why Toranaga was doing the things that he was doing, why his homeboy was willing to kill himself. Whereas if you went on socials the next day, people were like, that was the most grotesque scene. How did he sacrifice someone? Because culturally it's different. This dude is like, I'm ready to ride and die for you and your plan, because I know that's going to bring honor to me in the future. But Western beliefs had that weird disconnect. You wouldn't have gotten that in the 1980s version of Shogun, because it was culturally washed out. So and now Shogun is getting all of these awards and duly show, because it was told from the culture's perspective as much as he possibly could, and that doesn't happen unless you take that leap. It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen if you ask permission. You just got to do it, and then make people look at this culture from that perspective. So thank you, Donnie, for bringing that up.
I thought Shogun was brilliant because they took an authentic view of it. I'm glad that they did not rehash the 1980s series. I think I've seen a 1980s series, but I don't remember it. It was so long ago. You did have to really understand Eastern culture and philosophy to understand the show, but I thought that was the brilliance of it. I hate the fact, and what they showed brilliantly on this was Blackthorn was fully immersed in Japanese culture, and the longer he was there, the more he assimilated. He became a part of it. And up until that point, I think that's what made Caucasian people uncomfortable, because every other brand of people on the planet has always had to assimilate their way.
Uh-huh.
They're used to seeing nobody have to assimilate and go into,
That's a very good point.
being the minority in the culture. That's not something that they used to or even want to see. And that's what it was uncomfortable. And that's what it's like for other people. Blackthorn eventually saw the beauty in it. And he understood the honor and stuff that did not come from his own culture. And he's like, damn, these people different.
Yeah.
They're not how I was led to believe. Remember, a lot of them people over there at first was missionaries. They was either missionaries or pirates. We gonna save you and then screw you because God told us to. Or we gonna screw you because we just some greedy bastards and y'all got shit that we want, we like, and we gonna come take it. And that's pretty much, it's funny that it's 2025 and that outlook from certain people on the rest of the world and people of a minority standpoint is still pretty much the same. Because if you don't have to adjust your gaze, you don't have to adjust your feelings about a certain population, then you don't. Do you understand the kind of connotations and how we think about quote unquote third world countries? But if you actually got a passport and traveled outside these countries, and I mean go outside of the resorts and the places that are for tourists, go to South America. Is not there? Yes, there's a lot of third world countries. I live in Kentucky. I can show you a third world country. I can go to a county down the road. I'll show you a goddamn third world country.
Yeah.
That's down the street. So, third world countries, there are places in certain countries and cities in Africa that they technology, it might as well be Wakanda. They on some different shit over there.
Yes.
They are on some different stuff over there. And now because the country has been so pillaged by damn near every other country on earth, they are fiercely protective of stuff getting out of there. And it's sad because I remember people saying about Black Panther. How dare y'all have vibranium and all this technology and you didn't give it to the world? To do what with?
Why? Why
To
did
do
we have
what
to?
with? The first time you got an opportunity, you was over here trying to steal it. You go take it and use it as a weapon, blow up the rest of the world, make weapons with it. Y'all made that shit up. No, not doing that. So I think it's extremely important that we get these type of representations. They told a beautiful, beautiful story in Shogun, where we got to understand that culture. And I think it's important that whatever culture it is, whether it's from a racial background, whether it's from the disabled community or anywhere on the spectrum or whatever community it is, that authentic stories are being told from those perspectives. And I think it's upsetting that there's so many gatekeepers that would tell them that's not a real story because it doesn't fit the stereotype of what I already have in my head.
It doesn't make me
Or
feel
they say things like,
Or it doesn't make me feel comfortable.
Taraji P. Henson said that they told her that Black stories don't sell overseas. And she was like, wait, what? And she went to like an Asian country and they were like, cookie. And she was like, what do you mean they don't sell? You know what I mean? So if they're watching Empire, like it sells because other people want to know things. So no matter what culture you go to, like they are either happy that you want to learn about their culture or they want to learn about yours. It's, like people like to learn about other people. It's an inherent like trait that happens in humanity where you want to get to know what is around you, especially if it's different.
The two highest grossing series on Netflix are both foreign. Squid Game and Money Heist. Well, Money Heist is the top 5. I don't know if it's still at the time when Money Heist was the highest viewed television series on Netflix, and that came out of came out of Spain, I think is what it was. A whole bunch of different, but it was foreign. And then here comes Squid Game. So regardless of how you feel, the people speak. the people that are clicking,
people do not care.
Yeah, the people click. So you can push whatever narrative you want to, but people People will, if they're given the opportunity to choose, let them choose.
It's also when you tell a good and compelling story. Like I just saw this, and I think it's also one of those things. Like we had a back and forth about this too when we saw the last episode of Shogun. I do want to say this, and I don't often do this, but I will toot our horn because I think that Centel and my reactions and the discussions that we had regarding the episodes of Shogun were next level, and it wasn't like anything else out there on the net. Most people took those shows at surface level and leaned back on their Western understanding of a culture that they had really no understanding of. They weren't trying to understand, and they probably should have kept their damn mouth shut. You probably shouldn't be speaking on this shit. And I think the way that we craft media in the Western Hemisphere, I thought the last episode was beautiful. And yes, I wanted to see the battle too, because I am from the Western culture. I wanted to see the battle. I wanted to see it go down. But I understand why they didn't show it. To show violence for violence sake was not necessary. You know what happened. And the thing is, it's like playing chess. When you sit down across the board from your component, depending on your first or couple moves and stuff, depending on how you hold yourself, the game is already over with. You know, a grandmaster can watch your first move and study you and be like, shit, this game's done in 15 moves, and you be like, what? You don't know what I'm gonna do? The hell you say? And that's what Shogun was. This TV series was showing the chess battles, the chess maneuvers in such a way we get used to it in hood movies, and it's like, oh, he did that, and he pulled, it was a twist, and he pulled the okie doke, and he double crossed him. No, that movie was so rife with nuances that in what they said, what they didn't say, things that like
Mariko's character. Oh my gosh, she has so many layers. Listen, she was killing them with poetry. Like it was. And
remember, we saw Anna. No, but remember, we saw Anna Sawai first on Monarch, and we was like, yeah, she can go sit down somewhere. They need to go back to in the past. I don't even want to see her current character. But then when she showed up on Shogun, I was like, you know what? We're not worthy. She put on an acting clinic, and I was like, oh,
big old facts.
That woman is fantastic. Like, so it's different. It's different. So, but thank you for the comment, Dante.
I think they're looking for the original. I think you all are looking for the original Shogun. I think it's on Amazon Prime, the original Shogun, if you wanted to see it.
Yeah, it's a 4-part limited series, but it's one of those ones that came out in 1980, 79, 80.
And keep that in mind.
And also, here's one of the things too. It was a big deal because it was freshly on the heels of Roots. That changed everything.
They made us watch that at school.
That changed everything in America. I remember the day after the first part of Roots came out.
Oh Lord!
It was a different day at school the next day. People gave you a wide berth in the lesson. Say something.
Everybody was mad.
Yeah, this is my tetherball court.
LeVar Burton became a household name.
Yes, there wasn't no damn Reading Rainbow, dude.
No, it was not Jordy. It was not Reading Rainbow.
I remember some of my little white friends. They were so distraught. They did this for real, like in the class. We were in a civics class. That's why we had to watch it. And they were like, "They did this for real, like to people." The teacher was like, "Yeah, our teacher was
like, y'all
white
getting
lady, but she was a civics teacher
version."
So, yeah. She was like, "This is mild." That's what she said. She literally said, "This is mild. This is just a little bit of what that is things that we can actually show, like in a movie that they did." She was like, "It was worse," and their whole feelings was hurt. Whole feelings. And
it's something about where people just really have no actual understanding of what it is that went into certain things. I remember on a whole different level. I remember seeing Passion of the Christ in the theaters.
Oh, Oh Jesus!
I did too.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
I was like, why y'all
Wow.
do this to me? This is not. Y'all did this in public.
I remember in them scenes, I remember the entire damn theater in there weeping like little girls, and somebody stole their ice cream. Boy,
Oh,
I
like,
swear.
everybody was ugly crying.
I was like, they should have
ugly
put some
crying.
warnings on the door. I
No, they
wasn't
did not.
ready for that.
And
when I saw
ours
it in the
freaking
theater.
town showed it for free. So we in there like
And
thinking,
it
we about
was
to see a
it
good
was
Jesus
the
movie. Oh,
it was the first movie that when that movie went off and went to black, nobody said a word. It was quiet as hell. Nobody
Yep.
moved for a while. Like you had to gather yourself. People walked out. It was the only movie that people walked out of the theater and look, they was looking for a Goodwill. They was looking for a Red Cross. They was looking for some way to redeem their lives. It's like, listen, I am not living right. People was hurt. Feelings was hurt. I ain't never seen that in any other movie. But you know, it's again representation. And I keep saying this because I think a lot of times because DEI is now a bad word in this country, representation actually matters. And it's not, we're not just talking about skin color. You know, I still listen, and I know, and Sherelle said that it's good that I'm going to look it up and I'm going to Google the shit out of character on TV series that has dyspraxia because I got to know. Who got it?
You about to, don't ruin it for yourself.
You're gonna spoil it for yourself.
You will come across it soon enough.
Okay.
Actually,
But then I know what that means. Okay. I know what that means. And you know what? I'll let it go for y'all. Thank you.
I technically told you.
I know what that means. I know what that means then. All right. So, and I'm going to be looking forward to it. But I love to see stuff like that and for me to learn new stuff. And I think it's important for whatever representation of stuff that, as long as it's a genuine representation of that culture, of that, because the only way for us to get ahead is to learn about each other and to be accepting of each other. Like, is the only way. Hell, I can't imagine just spending all day only around a bunch of black people.
No, oh God, no. I would probably be in jail for murder.
Well, like I said, because, you know what I'm saying, just the way I grew up, I was misunderstood. We're not a monolith. Not all of us are the same. I was misunderstood. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't like musicals, but they was like, why the hell are you singing the theme song to Grease? Who does that? I was like, the shit is catchy.
Because it's good.
I was like, that don't mean I'm not singing Earth, Wind, and Fire or singing the newest Bobby Brown, but shit, Grease, that was a good movie. You know what I'm saying?
Tell me more.
I was that kid.
Right?
I was that kid, but I was like,
that's my prerogative.
Kid that I knew
do what I want to do.
I was the only kid that I knew that had two black parents, like as in my mom is African American, my dad is Nigerian, as in from Africa, and I was not black enough for the black people, and sometimes too black for the white people. So I was like, I don't understand. Like, I'm not even mixed. Like, what is this?
Listen, I get it because I have been butterscotch all my life, and I wasn't black enough for the black people. I had too much of a tan for the white people. You know what I'm saying? Certain things I did, the black people like, why are you acting white? I was like, I don't even know what that means.
I don't know what that means. Or why do you talk like? What is that?
Yeah, and then white people like, why you talk like that? Or, you know, or they was, how come you don't use the N-word? And I'd be like, I was just about to use it right then. When you just said it, I was just about to say, the hell you talking about? Like, I say what I say. I said what I said. Like, I just, you know, and it was funny how, depending on what you did, how you got accepted in certain spaces. Like, I was too white and too weird, too geeky, too much of a nerd, you know, to be around the black people. But then when I bust their ass on the basketball court or, you know what I'm saying, on the football field, and they'd be like, oh, okay, you know what I'm saying? You must be one of us because, you know, you out here, you know. But then, you know, when I'm in theater and stuff, they're like, what y'all doing? This is our space. Like, what you doing in here? You supposed to be on the basketball court. And I was like, well, you know, I do this too.
Don't ask permission, just do. That's my advice to everybody. Just do you. Don't ask permission.
It's probably the one thing that I got from my dad. I didn't get shit from him, but that's probably the one thing. It's, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't even ask for forgiveness over permission. It's just do what you do.
Much easier to ask for forgiveness than ask for permission. Just do it.
All right. Now we have been talking for a while, so I want to give everyone a chance to get some final comments in. I don't want to take up too much of your time. So whatever it is that you're going to do today, I want you to get to it. But I do appreciate each and every one of you of joining us again. Um, just for those of you that are watching with us and on here live with us right now, I have an idea of where our discussion is going to go next week. It will be we won't necessarily talk about Doctor Who next week. We're going to talk about a little other show that we have been doing because I think we need to talk about it. This show called Paradise.
Ooh, okay.
That's my
Yeah.
jam.
I'm
So
already
that
ready.
should
I'm
that
already
should
ready.
be
I'm already
that should
ready.
be ending this week coming up, and I think there's a lot of themes. There's a lot of stuff to dissect and talk about in this show, depending on how this finale go. Because
I'm already hot.
we're not gonna get started right now. So, woo! Anybody have any final comments before we close this bad boy out?
I guess I could speak real quick. As a white person, I've always been coming from a privileged position with this subject matter, and like I was always on board with it the moment I heard about the concept of representation, because I've always been interested in diversity and understanding stories that were not my own.
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't until I actually felt myself on screen where I truly got it.
Mm.
It was Ghostbusters Afterlife of all things.
Ah, yeah. Okay.
Like it's never really said or depicted beyond a few little hints, but Phoebe, I believe, would have been on the spectrum, and there was lines that like it made me like weep when I heard them, just because I'm like, I've been looking for these words my whole life. One of them was like, "Aren't you just a little bit freaked out right now?" And she's like, "Overstimulation calms me." That made me cry, and it wasn't even like a happy or sad line. It was just a line. Another one was something repulsive happened in the social setting, and he's like, "That doesn't bother you?" And she's like, "No, of course it bothers me. I just don't exhibit emotions the same way as everyone else does. Inside, I'm vomiting." And like I'm like I've been like looking for words like that my whole life, and I cried.
Wow. I have first off, thank you for sharing that. I have a friend of mine, and her son's on the spectrum, and his favorite movie is the Power Rangers movie that came out in like 2017.
Yeah, Billy.
Yeah, and there's a character Billy who's on the spectrum, and she was saying that she damn near like broke down like in just happiness, like tears of happiness, because she finally found somebody that that he could really connect to and watched it over and over again. So it's just I feel like it's kind of like that same thing when you see somebody and you're like, oh my gosh, there's me, I'm seen. It's one of those kind of moments.
Yeah.
Well, I had one like that with the movie that you guys watched last night, but it was with my son, because the accountant, seeing him and I was like, he can be anything he wants. I was like, whatever he wants. But it was just a really good representation where it wasn't over the top. It wasn't, like identity porn. Like it wasn't any of that. It was just a character who just so happened to have this.
I think I love all of those type of movies and seeing characters like that who stand out, who not necessarily on the spectrum, but who are not the norm and who stand out in ways that are much different, like The Accountant. And one of my favorite TV series of all time was about a young lady who was on the spectrum, but her spectrum made her brilliant. And most people don't understand that, it's kind of like idiot savant, that to be brilliant on the spectrum is actually a rarity. And most people do not hit high.
Yeah,
on the
I'm an
spectrum be
idiot.
high functioning. And she was extremely high functioning, where people don't understand that that's almost a curse in itself.
Yes.
Because there's another show that's on right now, and I'll get back to that one. There's another show that's on right now that I love because, again, she's high functioning. It's called High Potential. It's on Hulu. And she damn near has, identical. She has photographic memory. She remembers things. She knows a lot. And I think it's a great, police procedural. So she comes in as a consultant to the police and helps them solve crimes because her mind never stops processing stuff. She can't hold down a job. She has a lot of issues with normal life because her mind is always constantly racing and thinking about things that she probably shouldn't be thinking about just because it pops in there. The show I was talking about is a show, Centel is extremely familiar with the show, called Extraordinary Attorney Woo.
Oh my gosh, love that one. Yeah, that's my jam.
That is a South Korean show.
Yeah.
It is done. It's a show that you have to watch the subtitles.
It's worth it.
However, it is one of the best shows I have ever seen. And it just, the lead character, she plays a woman, a high functioning autistic character so damn well. Everyone assumed that she wasn't playing a part. This was her in real life. And no, she damn near went method. She studied, she sat with, she went and researched that condition so well that real people within the community cried and thanked her for a real representation of not only her side of the spectrum, but there were other characters in the show that showed the other side of the spectrum as well, and the differences. And I didn't watch This Is Us because I don't like that ugly crying shit where your eyes be sweating for no reason. But goddamn it, Extraordinary Attorney, there was a couple episodes that I was like, what is this strange substance in my eyes?
It's good.
Yeah.
If you like that feel good, like when you're watching Ted Lasso, you're gonna feel good watching Ted Lasso.
You watch Schitt's Creek.
If you like that feeling, then you'll love Attorney Woo because you'll leave with something. You'll feel full watching that show.
Yes, it is 22 episodes. It's only one season, 22 episodes because it's South Korean. And they're long. They like an hour 10, an hour 15.
they put in South Koreans put in work on their shows. They be like, "Oh, you're gonna be here for a ride." It's like Indians in movies.
Hour episode. You they took me 3 days to watch this show.
Yeah,
Indians in movies. They be like, "You're gonna be here for about 3.5 hours, so buckle up." Yeah.
But they never intended to do any more seasons. That was it's a one and done. And I think the kind of like the way this dude from Squid Games is like, I do one more, the bag is right. They're talking about maybe doing a second season of Extraordinary Attorney Woo.
I think they're waiting for one of the actors to finish his, because you have to serve. It's mandatory serving.
Yeah.
In the military in South Korea. And I think they're waiting for him to finish his.
Yeah, he's like on a hit show. He's one of the lead actors. Yeah. He's on there and he's out there serving with BTS. Like, this shit is crazy.
Oh, I am so sorry. I'm looking at some super chats. Please give me 1 minute to interrupt real quick. I just wanted to show some love. I hear from Michael Nemo. I noticed that we don't get good writing representation at the same time. It's one or the other. Lovecraft Country, good. Current Who, terrible. That is interesting. And good shout out for Lovecraft Country, which is probably the only thing that I think rivals Lovecraft Country is maybe Watchmen. Watchmen series. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Watchmen series and Lovecraft Country. Exceptional otherworldly type writing. So with that, Michael, for my little bit, I do think it doesn't have to be one or the other. I just think that a lot of times people are so busy trying to check off quotas, check off things, that they'll force that, and then the story comes secondary, and that's never going to be a good idea. Anybody else?
You know why the writing is terrible when you have people of color? It's because the people who are writing it, they do not take the culture into account. When you have people in a writing room who are not from the culture, or they don't have a person from the culture in the writing room to show the nuances, they just assume that, hey, I'm writing a police story and our lead character happens to be black. People are people. I don't see color. I just write. And
Lies.
yeah, the hell you
Yeah.
don't.
You
Shit,
out here
I know
lying,
that.
lying to everybody. I'm colorblind. No, you're not.
I think
And
not a
they
thing that
think that
happens.
they're saying that they think that saying that too is a compliment, and
It
it's
is not.
not, because it means you don't see me. I had no choice on being a black man, but now that I'm here, love every minute of it. And it is interwoven into every fiber of my being. I don't know how to be a white man. Ain't never been one of those. I don't know how to be, I might do martial arts. That don't make me Chinese. You know what I'm saying? Like I am who I am. And if you say you don't see color, then you don't see me at all. So that's bullshit. You know.
Donnie, yeah, I think you were just about to hop in there.
Yeah, I'm looking at Michael's comment here, and the one show I did watch and power through because I was just so intrigued by it, that had a good case of writing and representation, and they threw it at you. I'm talking about they threw it at you. Sense8 on Netflix.
Yeah.
Ooh.
That one, it made me uncomfortable because I just wasn't around certain things personally, but that story still had me hooked in. And I'm talking about, like, it went through a part where they wanted to cancel it, and then the fans did this outcry, and they got them all together for last, I believe it was one more episode to close out the show. That, oh, by the way, Rakaya Girl is in there. Martha's in there. A lot of Martha. So
that's the Wachowski project. I think that's the Wachowski project, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
Put that on right
But
now.
it was real. But it was real. It was really, really like the story was something I never heard of before. But it also introduced you to 8 different. I think it's 8 leads, characters from all over the world, all different, and done right. I'm talking about like literally done right. If you're from one particular type of culture, they represented it well. If you don't get it, you was intrigued by it, but the story was the one thing that was just better than all of that other stuff. So you didn't feel it. So I think that's the only show I've watched that like balances that beautifully.
Okay, yeah, I've heard of Sense8, never watched it. I knew it was the Wachowskis.
Wachowskis. I always say their name incorrectly.
Because they're not the brothers anymore. They're
the siblings.
Wachowski sisters. Yeah.
Sisters. There we go.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one. You laid that one down.
Okay.
Anybody else have any? Oh, there's another. Wait a minute. My apologies. Thank you. First off, thank you, Michael Nemo. We do appreciate that. You are the MVP. Thank you for your generous donation. We really, really do love y'all. We have another super chat coming in real quick. This one is coming from
Michael.
Alex Simpkin. I'd love to recommend Death in Paradise. It's a cozy murder mystery set in the Caribbean with majority people of color. Main casting. That's a new one for me. I haven't heard about Death in Paradise. You all familiar with this one?
It's British.
Okay.
I've heard it. I've seen it on my feeds on my little Fire Stick, but I never watched it. So
I'm sorry. You said that out loud. That just made me laugh.
What?
Fire Stick. It comes with its own. It comes with its own.
I mean, listen, I ain't paying for all these streaming services. You made that up. Shit, I watch. Yeah,
it just caught me off because
I fell into the black stereotype. Yes, I got some bootleg shit. I don't care. I ain't paying for it.
There's no judgment coming from me and none of this.
Do you see the other comment that just came through? We got
another one. Hold on.
Yeah, this one killed Donnie.
Thank you, Alex Simpkin. We really do appreciate that. We have another one. Okay, here we go.
Michael.
Donnie, go ahead. You read that one, because
Sense8 was great, just too orgy centric though. Now I'm gonna repeat what I said. I powered through it.
Oh my gosh!
It made you uncomfortable, but it made you comfortable.
I'm gonna have to check this show out.
I mean, this is like 2016.
That was the seller for Rickard right there.
This is like when the Wachowskis were really kind of like really stepping into their own at that time. So I think this was like one of their first series that they really stepped out.
I think at that time it was only one sister. I think the other one was in the process of thinking about transitioning or whatever. I don't know. I hate because I think that the show took an undue amount of flack too because of the personal choices of the people creating the show. You know, because I really don't understand, and maybe it does. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Because their decision to transition, if that affected their writing, I don't see why it would. But some people might say that they had, you know, certain agendas now they're writing to explain their own personal choices in life. I think that I don't know. I've never seen the series. I just heard things about it. I've heard some people say it was great. I heard some people say it was awful. Too orgy centric though. That is that is interesting. It's like, you know, it's like, yeah, who's the producer on the show? Well, we had Diddy, we had Robert Kelly, we had like,
Not like that. It's not that bad.
I mean, I don't know. I ain't seen it, so
Kai, Hunting Violence right there. Freema in her glory.
yeah.
Oh,
I was about to say, I know you will. That's
Oh.
all you need.
I don't think I'm gonna watch it
now.
now. I think I just wanna remember her the way I remember her. I don't want to, you know, watch it and have to lock my doors and be like, where the laptop at? Where the laptop at? I don't want to do it. I just want to remember in the Whoverse. I don't want to do it. I would do it.
I just had to shout out Black
Like,
Prophet.
like
He
that.
said he had a fire cube.
different
That was
Mosa.
That's funny. Anybody else have any closing thoughts before we start wrapping this bad boy up?
I was going to turn Sensei on. I forgot I was in the library. I was like, let me see what
Mess around and be on somebody's
Get ready to
FBI
get
watch
put
list.
out.
You better chill out.
Yeah, get ready to get put out.
I guess the one thing I wanted to add though was that we all have been talking about representation the whole time, but people always seem to fail to realize that we also need like people of color and people from different cultures on the other side. Like we need them to be in the writer's room with the writers, or at least like that Black friend that's like, no, that's not gonna work. Like so the people who are like monitoring and editing these shows need to be representation too. Like that's why, like that's how the stories are good. You know, when they go like play, like when Avatar did their second one, like they went to these cultures, you know what I mean? Like they sent people out to go, you know, review these things and talk to the people. Like that needs to happen with a lot of these stories. And that's a lot of time that's part of the problem with them is that, you know, it was from someone else's lens and you didn't bother to like ask the people, is this accurate? Like, why didn't you ask? What they say, Tyrone in the mailroom told you. You know what I'm saying? Like you had asked Tyrone in the mailroom, he'd have been like, nah.
Yeah, that's some bullshit.
Right? Like, nah, we don't do that. That's not real.
It's also a credit to some of these actors who like picked up on the fact that exactly what Sherelle was saying. Like if you don't have these folks in the background covering you properly, John Amos, he got up and walked out of Good Times. You had Henry Cavill walk out of The Witcher because he didn't feel like that story was going to be accurate. You know, so there's a history of actors who are like, nah, I'm not signing up for this, and sometimes bounce while writing the contract. So at least some actors, not all, but at least some actors at least get it.
And stand up for other actors on the set if they see other actors are being treated poorly. You know, and here's the thing: we talk about representation. And a lot of times, our minds immediately go to color of skin, but there's so many areas that can be talked about because you know what I'm saying. Like we forget the world is run by what is it? Cis hetero white men or something, white old men or something. You know, and it is like that. We are doing a strange push right now on women across the board. And I think it's hurtful to representation when you purposely, like Donnie was talking about earlier, that you just push people to the forefront. It's like, oh, well, y'all want a story about this hero from, you know, this. Well, I'm going to put a woman in that part. Why? Is that what the story called for? You still got to tell us good stories and put the people in where they're supposed to be. You know, if you change the characters, you know, makeup, and say, okay, well, I'm gonna change this character male to a female. Why? I'm just change this character from white to black. Why? Was it because the people who came in the audition for the parts, that person was the best and they got the part? Then I see. If this character was originally written for a male and we had a woman that came in and knocked out of the park, it was like, damn, I'm gonna make John Constantine now Joan Constantine, like Jenna Coleman was in the Sandman series. Okay, she knocked out the park. Cool. All right. Listen, Clara's still on my shit list, so she's still on my shit list. So we'll have to wait till season 9. See if she get off it. She's still on my shit list. So
I mean, I just want to say Keanu Reeves though, like ain't nobody gonna do Constantine better than him. But I'm just saying.
And he desperately wants to get back to the new. He wants to get back to play Constantine again.
I love it.
I heard it's greenlit. It's not
love
greenlit.
him so hard.
I don't know. Who knows?
He's getting kind of long in the tooth, so I don't know if that's gonna work. But anybody else had any?
Gotta get like that. Just
come on, we seen John Wick 4. He was out of breath.
But Constantine ain't got to do all that.
Keanu was out of breath.
He might be too out of breath to tell him to cast a spell.
So can you just apologize to my dog? Maybe I ain't gotta come track you down or something. Anybody else have any closing thoughts?
Give me a PetSmart gift card and we'll call it good.
We'll call it even. I guess my short sweet one is super quick. I don't know who coined the term, but somebody smarter than me had said, tell your story or somebody else will tell it for you.
Ooh.
And just keep that in the spirit of you being creative and doing your thing, or even just expressing yourself. That's it.
I'm gonna need you to stay out of my brain and conversations. Thank you very much.
That's that one from Israel. My bad.
But that is why I do not take it lightly. What it is that we do on a daily basis, Centel and I do not take it lightly that we're able to do live sessions like this and have so many people show up in the chat and show up with us to be on screen to just talk about these things. Because representation does matter. Thank you to each one of you who is still rocking with us. We're going to try to tell authentic stories. And even though we talk about other people's stories, we're going to try to talk about it from our point of view. And whichever box that checks off for you, I'm glad that it checks off for you. Thank you for giving our voice a little bit of weight. So thank you very much.
Well, that's my last thought then is thanks for having me as your token white gay Scot. Appreciate it very much.
Well, believe it or not, Daniel, you're just as important to the conversations as anybody else on here. Because until you just said that, I didn't know that about you. I knew you were Scottish. I knew you were Scottish. That's the only thing I knew, and I love it.
I was passing.
I love that so hard.
He's like, yeah, my accent's so good they don't even know. No, it's great. Thank you. And like I said, I'm sure that each of us on here could check more than one box. Whatever box you assume, we could check a lot of boxes, but that's not what it's about. No one here. We were not worried about the labels or whatever it is that we felt out. We just wanted to have a great conversation and talk about how all of us can and should represent for whatever it is that we represent. Again, I want to thank everyone. And as I always say, whatever we do, how we do it, you got to use this. But more importantly, like everyone here, like we talked about, it's got to be about this. It's got to be about it. Thank you, all of my chefs in the kitchen today. Thank you, all of y'all. And just in case y'all didn't know, we did because I just saw this, and so the new Spider-Man. So I know if you didn't know, we did reactions to all of the Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. So go check those out. So because that's kind of where this came from. We will definitely I think it's in a couple weeks. The new season of Doctor Who will be back on.
Yep.
With Ncuti Gatwa with the 15th Doctor. So
April
we will.
12th, I think.
Yeah. So we got about a month. So we're going to be doing that as well. And we'll be doing a lot of other stuff in the meantime. So please continue to check in Centel's channel. We're doing great reactions on there every day. Please continue to come to mine and support my YouTube channel. And if you can, you can come by the Patreon, but at least support the YouTube channel. I want to thank y'all, and we will see y'all next week. Same. I don't even like, because I don't like Batman. He beats up poor people. He does. Rich billionaire ass. Just Elon Musk out here with his toys and shit, whooping people's ass.
He was holding that back.
Same time, same channel. We'll see y'all next week, man.
Wow.
You see, yeah. Somebody gonna be upset with me and talk about Batman. I'm like, no, I identify with him. I too want to be a billionaire and beat up poor people. It's possible.
Is that a Nickelback?